The January 3rd, 2025 edition of SmackDown took place in Phoenix, Arizona from the Fleet Center. Now, this show was an important one as it's the first official SmackDown under the 3-hour time slot on USA Network in the US and around the world, as this show is now on Netflix. So, I have to say, the 3 hours tonight didn't feel too long. It kind of felt like a decent Raw when you watch 3 hours, but I feel as though as time goes on, it's going to drag a lot more than it did tonight. So I want to say that right off the bat. Tonight, to me, if it went by faster, it didn't really drag for me. He had some good wrestling on this show, I really have to say. But I feel it has the potential to go off the rails. And of course, it's also worth learning this is the final SmackDown before Monday Night Raw goes on Netflix, which is the big 3-hour premiere on Monday. I, of course, will review that. But tonight we're talking about SmackDown. So the show started off with Cody Rhodes. He gets on the mic and he's interrupted by Drew McIntyre. And McIntyre essentially hugs him. It's kind of weird. It was really awkward. And everything is being set up in which they're basically said now McIntyre's on SmackDown, he's not on Raw, and I think it's best to get him away from Punk and from Seth for a while, so I think that's a good thing. But him and Cody go for they talk back and forth, and then Kevin Owens comes out of nowhere and he attacks Cody from behind, and they basically do a beatdown to set up the match at the Royal Rumble, which is a ladder match. Both for both titles, the WWE Championship that Cody has and the legendary, the classic Wing Dingle belt that KO has. So we go to Andrade and Nakamura for the US title. Decent matchup here. It was alright. Nakamura got the win. To me, Andrade's basically back where he was before he first left WWE. I like Nakamura's new gimmick, though, I have to say. I think it's really cool. You had LA Knight coming out after the match and basically setting up his next shot at Nakamura. LA Knight is super over. The Yak catchphrase is obviously very popular in Phoenix. They show Apollo Crews and having a conversation with Pretty Deadly, and of course this leads to Santos Escobar in his group. Legado del Fantasma. Getting into a conversation with Pretty Deadly, they're all yelling at each other. To me, I just don't have any interest. This is really where the show lacks, because I heard the rumors about SmackDown that they could be featuring more guys who are not prominently used on WWE television as of now, and essentially using them as almost a gateway between NXT and Raw. I don't want that for SmackDown. I fear that could happen, especially now that Raw is once again the A show. The 5 years we had at SmackDown on Fox are now over, so Raw's the A show again, definitely. I hope this doesn't happen, but this did feel... This gave me negative vibes saying this, but I just felt like the segments didn't mean anything because the wrestlers there don't mean anything. But anyway, it led to Pretty Deadly talking to DIY and basically this set up where they would interfere in their match on their behalf. So he had Mishin against Piper Niven. The highlight of the match wasn't necessarily these two. It was Chelsea Green coming out with Piper Niven, and she's dressed up as Wonder Woman. It looks really cool. Obviously, the fans brought up the fact that she's Canadian, dressing up as the American Wonder Woman. I still thought it looked good, and she looked good too. Then you had Mia Yim win the match. Match is all right. I guess it sets up Chelsea Green and Mia Yim. Chelsea Green already won, so I don't see reason to go back to that. Then you had they had Paul Heyman come out, and I thought he cut a great promo. I thought this was as good as it usually is. He's talking about the tribal chief, and he mentioned that Solo Sikoa, and he added to this story, I like that he brought this up, that after Roman Reigns lost to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40, he had his Ula Fala stolen by Solo Sikoa, so basically Solo just went into the back before Roman came out. He went to Roman's backs and he stole it. I thought that was really cool. I liked how they mentioned that. I like how it goes back to WrestleMania, and I think it kind of comes full circle now. I'm glad they finally brought that up. I also liked how he brought up how Roman wanted his revenge on Seth. I hope this doesn't lead to Roman and Seth or anything, but I liked how Heyman brought that up as well. I always like it when they go back and they explain things. It makes it come full circle, makes you feel like you've invested your time watching this product and you're not lost like some other casual fans might be. So he talks about how Roman and him groomed Solo. They wanted him to eventually become the tribal chief. They viewed him as the successor to Roman. But after WrestleMania, when Solo took the tribal chief, he realized no one would ever acknowledge him. That's when he got rid of Jimmy, and he brought in what Solo called, he used the term animals, filthy animals to describe Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, and of course Jacob Fatu. When it came to Jacob Fatu, he says he basically belongs in the American prison system, of course mentioning Jacob's legal history, and I thought that was really well done, really effective. I thought Heyman was great here. I really didn't care about seeing Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, but Heyman's so good that it got me into the match. He always does it. The guy's just great. Then Sikoa comes out, and Heyman was funny talking about he would piss his pants. Solo's out there because last time Solo put him through a table. They have a confrontation, and basically Solo says if he loses to Roman, he'll acknowledge Roman, but when he beats Roman, he will be acknowledged as a tribal chief. That's basically what he said, and I thought the segment was great. He also brought up how CM Punk, Heyman stole CM Punk fever. I hope this doesn't lead to Roman Reigns and CM Punk. I really don't want to see the match. I'd rather see something else with Punk and with Roman, but you might get that. It's just not a match I really need to see. But basically, it was done to really hype up the match on Raw, and I thought they did great. Heyman was great. I thought Solo did pretty good. I'm not a fan of Solo. I think he's overpushed. But I thought in this segment, it was done well. So it got me into the match on Raw. Next, we had Motor City Machine Guns talking how they felt that Johnny Gargano betrayed them. It's funny that they didn't mention Ciampa, but I think they're from Detroit. I guess Johnny's from Cleveland, so they probably been around each other. So I guess that did kind of make sense in a way. They did the Saturday night's main event promo, and it was Hulk Hogan doing the narration. So maybe Hogan appears this time on Saturday night's main event. That'd be cool. He didn't appear last time, but the way they did it makes you think he's going to be on. Next, we had DIY defending their tag team titles against the Motor City Machine Gun. I have to say, this match really delivered to me. I was getting into it. I was starting to really get really excited. I think, I don't think they should put the belts right back in the Machine Guns because DIY, I think, are really good. I like the stuff they're doing right now, so I want to see it continue, but the fans really, it felt like this was the first time the fans are starting to really get into the Machine Guns. I thought that was really good. I've always been a fan of them. I'm happy to see them get their opportunity in the WWE, but they really didn't resonate with the fans. A lot of fans just don't know who they are. It's not like they're AJ Styles coming in. However, it felt like this was a turning point. And I thought Gargano and Ciampa were good as heels. Now the match eventually devolved into chaos when Pretty Deadly comes out and basically they interfere in the match. And originally, actually, they're stopped by Legado del Fantasma, Escobar, and his guys. I forgot the other two guys' names, to be honest. They're so irrelevant. Come out and they brawl. And then eventually they get back in the ring and they cause a DQ. And Gargano and Ciampa basically laugh as the heel champions. So eventually they're setting up another match. We'll see how this goes. I wouldn't mind it continuing, and hopefully we get to see them have a really great long match together, not just on TV. Maybe they want on pay-per-view. They show Nia Jax and Candice LeRae backstage, and basically Candice is trash-talking Tiffany. Tiffany's not there, and Candice is talking about how she needs to stop Bianca Belair, and she is, basically turning Nia against Tiffany, and she didn't need to. Spoiler alert. They had Carmelo Hayes and Sami Zayn having a confrontation. Then it turns into him going after the Usos. After Melo leaves, you have the Usos there, and then they get into a confrontation with Kevin Owens, who tells him to watch. He basically tells Jay to watch his back. That's interesting. So that's obviously something's going to happen. Is Kevin going to attack Jay on Raw? Is he going to attack Roman on Raw? Is he going to cost Roman the Ula Fala? Maybe it's KO who does it. I don't know. But Kevin's going to interfere with the bloodline somehow. I don't know. Is there a huge match with Jey Uso coming up? But it's clear Kevin's not done with the bloodline. They showed backstage with what happened with Cody. They showed him talking to Nick. And see, here's the thing with Cody. I feel sometimes they're making Cody look soft by essentially protecting him from Kevin Owens, and I don't think that's in Cody's interest. I think Cody needs to come off more strong as champion, but they're doing their best to put Kevin over. I'm afraid they're going to damage Cody, and I can see a situation where some of the fans cheer for Kevin in the Rumble match over Cody. I don't like to see Cody get booed. I think he's done really well. He hasn't had the best booking as champ, but I can see that situation happening. But here, it's basically Cody telling Nick Aldis he's a good boss because he's doing what's best for SmackDown and best for the company. But Cody is basically on bench on Kevin. Usual spiel. And he also says that anyone who looks like Kevin Owens, he'll drop on sight. So if you're overweight and you wear gym shorts, you should definitely be afraid. Beware. He had Naomi making her entrance with Bianca Belair. I thought it was pretty good. Then he had Nia Jax making an entrance accompanied by Candice LeRae. And I was blown away by this match. I was surprised at how good it was. I have very little respect for Nia Jax as an in-ring performer. I still think she sucks. I thought her performance at War Games in the Survivor Series was terrible. I think her title reign had gone on way too long. However, this match was probably easily my favorite Nia Jax match I've ever seen. There's no doubt that she's much better than her first run with the WWE. But I just felt like this title reign went on too long. It should have happened a couple months ago. But we'll get to the cash-in, actually. So, Nia and Naomi have a very good match. They just had a really good match. Naomi's, this is one of her best matches. Maybe her best match in WWE. I can't really think of anything better than she's had in this. At least recently, since her comeback. They just did really well. It went on, and I wasn't bored. I was into it. There were several near falls where they almost got me. It looked like Nia might finish her. It looked like Naomi might finish her a couple times. Or it looked like after Naomi hit the split-legged moonsault that it was over. Nia kept kicking out. And it was just a very good match. Eventually, Candice LeRae gets involved. She distracts the referee. Bianca goes after Candice, but then Nia takes out Bianca. And then there's basically a spot where they do an inverted suplex from the top rope. Both are knocked out. Tiffany makes her entrance and she's ready to cash in. But she does this thing where she destroys the referee. She throws him over the barricade. She refuses to cash in. Candice LeRae all this time has the referee distracted. And Tiffany basically takes her briefcase and bam, hits Naomi in the face. Nia hits the Annihilator on Naomi and pins her 1, 2, 3. It looks like that's it. And Tiffany's celebrating. And then I thought, oh shit, man, we're not going to get this. I've been waiting so long to see her cash in. I was hoping this Nia Jax title reign would end now. I thought it would happen on their show. It's the big 3-hour premiere of SmackDown. And it looked like, oh man, they're going to drag this. I was thinking, are they really going to have Nia Jax go into WrestleMania as champ? But then Tiffany tells her to go after Bianca. Right when she did that, I thought, all right, it's happening. So she attacks Bianca. She's ready to hit her with the Annihilator. And then Tiffany goes, as Nia's on the middle rope, she hits her in the back with the Money in the Bank briefcase. And she then goes after Candice. Tiffany takes out Candice. And then basically Nia's sloped out on the top, on the middle rope, on the top rope. Her legs on the middle, her body on the top. And Bianca gets up and then she hits a KOD on Nia, and basically Nia sells it like she's dead. And then Tiffany goes, attacks Naomi, throws over the announce booth, and then she finally cashes in. And as soon as Lillian Garcia announces that she's cashing in, the match is official, she hits the prettiest moonsault ever. 1, 2, 3. Your new WWE Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton. It's officially Tiffy time. We have a new champ. Really excited. I thought Tiffany's been great. She's been a star since she came on. The fans really gravitated her really early. Then she won the Money in the Bank briefcase, and She got her own special pink briefcase, and this was inevitable. We knew this was happening. We just wanted to know when, and it finally did happen. Your new WWE Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton, couldn't be happier for her. I think she's going to be a good champ, and I really like this whole match. I like the last segment. This was my favorite part of the show, by far. I thought this was just great, and looking forward to seeing Tiffany's title reign. Hopefully she's a good champ. So on the show, there were some recaps. Of course, they talked about the title change. And then they had Solo Sikoa walking with Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga, with Fatu cutting a promo saying, "I love you, Solo." I've heard him say that a million times. And how everyone's going to acknowledge Solo, that he's the tribal chief. Then they make their entrance. They had an interview with Byron Sachs with LA Knight, talking about Nakamura, and he wants his rematch for next week. And also, before I get to the main event, there's reports on Rumble's going to be 2026 Royal Rumble is going to be in Saudi Arabia. I hope that's not true. It's just going to really suck. Just the atmosphere I'm not a fan of. Hopefully they change their mind if that's true. Now we get to the main event, which is the new bloodline, the Fatu, Sikoa, and Tonga against the original bloodline. And in this thing, they have a big entrance with Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Sami Zayn coming through the crowd doing the yeet. Jey Uso's entrance, awesome moment. Fans are going nuts. In Phoenix, just a great moment, great atmosphere, great main event. All excited. And the match they had was pretty good. It was a brawl at first and eventually went into a tag. I can't say anything really I haven't seen before, nothing spectacular, but it was a fun main event, a fun tag match. We had to know the the new bloodline was going to win because they have to give Solo a big win before he faces Roman Reigns on Raw. So basically ended with Solo hitting a Samoan spike on Jey Uso, getting the pin. The bloodline celebrates. And that finished SmackDown, which I thought was a very entertaining show. Really enjoyed it. 3 hours I liked. I liked the new mat. The blue mat looked pretty cool. It had the white robes, which I hate. I want the white robes gone. Please, can we get rid of those white robes? We need blue robes. I actually prefer the white canvas. The blue canvas is okay. Having blue ropes and blue canvas is a bit too blue, if you will. But I think on Raw we'll get the red ropes. I hope. But I would prefer we got the blue ropes back. Anyway, I enjoyed SmackDown, and looking forward to Raw. And I'll see you in a few days when we talk about Monday Night Raw's debut on Netflix.